Dolphins fans, we have to talk about a particular rookie that the Dolphins drafted in the 2024 NFL draft that I don't think is getting enough attention from fans and media as someone who could impact that team. And who are we going to talk about? We'll talk about that in just a second. But first, we are almost halfway through July, and I have to let you know we are struggling in our July sub battle. We're trailing by almost 35 subscribers to Eagles now. Hit that sub button. Daily content here at Dolphins Today. But more importantly, we need to try to beat Jalen Hurts and the scumbag Philadelphia Eagles. The rookie I'm talking about, fourth-round pick Jaylen Wright, the running back out of Tennessee, because I think he's going to have a much larger impact on this Dolphins team than people are really giving him credit for, which I understand. You have Achane, you have Raheem Mostert, but I think Wright is going to carve out a role for himself in this Dolphins team, this offense, and potentially even special teams, which we'll talk about at the end. But if you didn't know, I would be surprised, but let's give a little background knowledge on Jaylen Wright. He was drafted in the 4th round of the 2024 NFL Draft, pick 120. He came in his measurements at 5'10 and a half, 210 pounds, but more importantly, he's a blazer like Raheem Mostert and Achane when he recorded a 4.38 40-yard dash, and over 3 seasons at Tennessee, only played 3 years in college, all of them for the Volunteers. He had 18 career touchdowns. And it's clear to me that Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier really wanted to add Jaylen Wright to this roster when you consider the fact that they traded a future 3rd-round pick to get a 4th-round pick. That is not something that happens often in the NFL. Trading a 2025 3rd-round pick to get a 4th-round pick in this current draft, the value doesn't really suggest it's worth it, but when you have your eye on someone like Jaylen Wright, who they obviously believe can make an impact on this Dolphins team, Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier thought it was worth it. And Wright played really well for the Volunteers in 2023. He really was a kind of mix-in back his first 2 seasons, but this year's the first time he was able to get an expanded role in that Tennessee offense with Joe Milton and the crew, and he performed extremely well. I mean, you see the numbers on screen. He is a big play machine, averaging 7.4 yards per carry, which fits in really nice with the Dolphins team, considering Achane practically had 8 yards per carry for the Dolphins a year ago, and we know Raheem Mostert is good to break off some long plays as well. He averaged 4.8 yards per carry last season. The one thing with Wright that's interesting to me is that he only scored 4 touchdowns last year for Tennessee, but he helped them move the chains quite a bit, racking up over 1,000 yards on the ground and another 140 in the receiving game. We're going to talk more about Jaylen Wright and what his role could be on this team, but I want to show Wright some love. Spam 25 for me down in the comments section. We're talking about how he can make an impact on this team. Show the Rook some love. Well, it is going to be interesting to see what he can do for this Dolphins team, considering he is running back 3 behind 2 studs right now, Raheem Mostert and Achane. And a lot of buzz from beat reporters and national pundits are telling me and telling you guys at home that Achane is poised to have a massive second year for the Miami Dolphins after only playing in 11 games last season. Now, I am not going to dispute that, but I also do think Jaylen Wright will be able to do a lot of good things. When you think about the other depth on this running back depth chart with Chris Brooks, Salvon Ahmed, Jeff Wilson Jr., I'm only sure and confident one of those 3 names will actually be on the team. So I think the Dolphins are going to run with 4 running backs plus Alec Ingold at fullback when the 53-man roster is announced, which means Wright is going to have to play a role. And whether it be in the passing game, whether it be in the between the 20s, or whether it be on special teams, I think Jaylen Wright is actually going to make a super positive impact for the Dolphins in 2024 as a rookie, and then kind of take over for Raheem Mostert and make a pairing with Achane as we move forward. We're going to talk about Raheem Mostert's and Achane's and Jaylen Wright's roles in 2024. But first, I got to show some love to our presenting sponsor. That is Mando, the best whole body deodorant. And when it's summertime, like now in July and August, you need to make sure you're smelling good and smelling right. And I make sure I'm that good smelling person with Mando. It's a whole body deodorant, and it's seriously safe to put anywhere on your body, whether it's your stinky crevices, your feet, your belly button, your pits. It does not matter. Mando can be placed anywhere on your body. And Mando's starter pack is the perfect thing for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, which I use the Mount Fuji every single day. I think it's the best smelling one. That's just my personal opinion. It comes with cream tube deodorant as well, and 2 free products of your choice, whether it be body wash, deodorant wipes. It does not matter. You get to choose, and there is also free shipping. Couple products in studio that I wanted to showcase: deodorant wipes and the cream tube deodorant. It's perfect for anything you need. You can put it anywhere. I love using the deodorant wipes, especially when I'm on the go. If I'm going out to play sports, golf, hoop outside, that's when I really use the deodorant wipes to make sure I am smelling nice and good. And you can smell nice and good when you use the discount code I got you today to get hooked up. Code chat at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. $5 off your starter pack when you use that code chat. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Yeah, you heard that correctly. So one more time, use code chat at shopmando.com. That link and promo code is in the description and comments of today's video. Mando, whole body deodorant, $5 off that starter pack. Get yours today. Let's get back to Jaylen Wright now and what his role can be for the Miami Dolphins, because I think when you look at this team and what they are going to expect and need out of Jaylen Wright, it's going to be primarily in the passing game, whether it be running routes for himself because he's a very capable pass catcher out of the backfield, or if they line him up in the slot at times and use his speed to threaten defenses deep or over the middle of the field, or in pass protection, because that's one of the best attributes of Wright. And I was talking with our Chat Sports draft guy, Tom Downey, after they made the pick in late April about Jaylen Wright. And I was asking him, why do you think they made this selection after taking Achane a year ago? They still have Jeff Wilson. They still have Raheem Mostert. And he pointed out the pass protection and pass blocking ability more than anything else. He is a really good blocker. And if they want to run a 2 running back set where it be Mostert, Achane, and Wright, they can run a route out of the backfield with Achane or Mostert, leave Wright in the pass protect. There's going to be a lot of versatility that Jaylen Wright brings to the table in the pass game. He also provides some much-needed insurance and depth to this running back room, because if we just flash back a year ago, we know how injury-prone the 2 players are in terms of Achane and Mostert because of their missed games in 2023. Devon Achane only played in 11 regular season games. Mostert played in 15, which I'll take 15 for a running back because that means you're only missing 2 games. But Achane missing 6 games, that obviously is not ideal. And there is no guarantee that those 2 will be able to stay healthy. I'm hoping Achane's 6 games miss is an anomaly, and that really isn't something that carries on with him throughout his NFL career. But Mostert, 32 years old, he's only getting older, is going to have to dial back his usage rate a little bit here. And if he's banged up as he gets older and isn't able to recover as quickly, that's where Jaylen Wright can step in and really be that second running back if there's an injury, or the change of pace back with good speed and pass protection. But there's also another role that I think Jaylen Wright can be used for that really just makes him even more dynamic for this Dolphins team. And that is in special teams game. Do I think he'll be the punt returner? Probably not. I think Malik Washington could be that, or Braxton Berrios. And Berrios is slotted in to be the kick returner for the Dolphins right away. But Jaylen Wright could overtake him if Mike McDaniel and the special teams coach looks at him and says, well, he gives us the best chance with these new kickoff rules to make an unbelievable play in special teams, start us with good field position, or even take one to the house. He's got the speed, he's got the ball carry vision, he's got the ability to break tackles. And like I said, those new rules are going to change kickoff games for a while here. And if Wright's able to capitalize on that and show out in preseason and training camp, then he could even just add more of a role for himself on this team. And I don't think it's that big of a jump here in conclusion to make that he could be your kick returner on week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got some projections for all the Dolphins running backs and Jaylen Wright in just a second, but let me know, what are your expectations for the 4th-round running back out of Tennessee in 2024? You can talk about yards, touchdowns, kick returns, doesn't matter. Let me know your thoughts on Wright down below. My projections for the running backs are as follows, and we've ran some simulations and projections on Devon Achane in the past because we've talked about him potentially breaking out, and I'm going to keep his numbers the same. 140 carries, 714 yards, 6 touchdowns. It's a little bit down from what he did last year, but like I said, you bring in Wright, you have more of a committee, and I think Achane will be used more as a receiving threat this season than he was last year. I think Mostert's numbers will come down a little bit in terms of his carries, his yards, and touchdowns, just due to the fact he is getting older and they can't really put that volume on him as much as he gets closer to 33, 34, 35. And then obviously the addition of Wright will eat into some of these carries and yards for Achane and Mostert. I'm projecting Wright with a modest 74 carries, 340 yards, which comes out to about 4.6 yards per carry. I know he averaged 7.4 at Tennessee, but unlikely he's going to be able to transition that into the NFL. And I don't really think he'll be used a lot in between the 10 and the 5-yard line when they're in the red zone. That feels like Mostert's job. But I do think he could grab a couple touchdowns on long runs during the season. I think that's a fair projection for Wright on the ground. But this is just on the running end. This is not projecting what he can do in the receiving game, which is where I actually think he's going to have the biggest impact on this Dolphins team. Kind of like how I feel with Devon Achane. I think they're all going to get a lot of carries, and they're going to use them all in rotation to keep them all fresh. But I think Mostert's going to be that still lead back in terms of running the football, and then you're going to see more of Achane in the passing game, running routes out of the slot, running routes out of the backfield, motion, jet sweeps, those type of things. And I could see that same exact role for Jaylen Wright as well. When you have two burners like Achane who ran a sub 4.3 40, and then you have two other guys in Mostert and Wright who ran a sub 4.4, you have a lot of speed to play with, and that's not even mentioning Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle either. This Dolphins offense, man, they are track stars. That's going to be very fun to watch. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you are subscribed so we can beat the Eagles in our sub battle, but also daily content. We have videos coming out Saturday and Sunday like we do every single day. So hit that sub button because we're going to make sure you're covered here at Dolphins Today. I'll see you tomorrow with a video. Go Fins.